Good evening. With Rav Daniel's permission, it's my honor to be here in Roslyn here tonight. Baruch Hashem, we'll speak about some important topics that applies to all of us. As you all know, we are concluding almost a year of a very difficult time. Each one of us suffers, some more, some less. Unfortunately, thousands of our nation are died, millions of people in the world died. There wasn't an easy mission, and we're still actually in the middle of the crisis, but now at least we begin to see the light in the end of the tunnel. There are two ways to look at life. One way is you have a scientific head. You go to university, you become a very educated person, you analyze everything in a rational manner. Rabbi, I'm a scientist, I'm not imagining things, I don't live in illusion, I don't believe in miracles. By me, it's all math. There is nature, there's the law of nature, there is statistic. That's how I analyze my entire life. That's one way to look at life. The other way to look at life is the world has a creator and he runs the show. Everything that happens must get his approval. From the biggest thing to the smallest things that happens constantly every second in the world. By Jews, by non-Jews, by animals, doesn't matter. Everything has to be approved by him. Therefore, when something amazing happened and we all dancing and singing, it was his decision. When a Holocaust is coming, it's also his decision. Good and bad. Nothing can happen without his approval. That creates a lot of conflicts in the way we think. Because we as people, we are a combination of brain and heart. We have the thinking and we have the emotions. By women, the emotions are more dominant. That's their nature. Also by children. By men, usually the head is more dominant than the heart. Not always, there's always an exception to the rule. But this is the way we are. We are a combination of thinking and feeling. We have emotions. Emotions you can divide to two different categories. It's the feelings. I'm in pain, I'm in happiness, I'm excited, and the desires that we have in the law of nature. Everything we like, food, money, sport, intimacy, everything we like to do, that's the nature of a human being. And we are running after pleasure, striving for pleasure, some more, some less. And plus, whatever we feel at the moment, this is a combination of the human being, thinking, what's in it for me, what will I gain, what will I lose, how will I take care about the future, how will I take care about my children, my grandchildren, how should I watch my health. This is all head. How much more money I can make, how much I can put aside, this is head. But then we have the feelings that cause us sometimes to go against our own will. Like a friend of yours is in trouble, you're a very stingy person. You hate to spend money. Even on yourself you don't waste. But you like him very much, especially if he did a lot of favors to you in life. You feel grateful to him. So you go and spend $50,000 to release him on bail or to get him the best doctor. And you suffer for a year because he kills you. That means your emotion took over your logic. Because in your logic you don't spend a penny on yourself. Because you're very, very stingy. But then on the other hand, your conscience kills you. Should I let him die? That's an example how the head and the heart collides. It happens every day, every minute in our life. So looking at the world as nature only is a very big mistake. Looking at the world is only God and his decision only, it's also a mistake. It has to be a combination of both. Meaning, you have to make an effort to make a living. You have to educate yourself, you have to get up in the morning, you have to go and meet clients, you have to try very hard, especially in the beginning, to build your business. That's nature. the more effort you put in, the higher is your chance to make a living. That's common sense. Everybody knows it. It's nothing to do with religion. Every non-Jew knows it, with or without Torah. Then you have also the book of God, that is instruction from the creator of the world, who tells you, you should know, that no matter how much effort you're going to put, and how educated you will be, and how you kill yourself to make money, in the end, it's my decision. You can kill yourself as much as you want. If I want you to be poor, I'll force you to be poor. You make millions, and I make sure all of it goes down the drain. Or, if you are a lazy bum and you do nothing with your life, but it's my interest to make you a millionaire, no matter how dumb you are, I'll make sure you always make millions. Why? Because that's the purpose of your life. So in the end, I am the master schalter. There's a lot of different switches, but I am the final one. I will make the final decision. How do I make my decision? 100% based on your behaving. Everything in life this is a mathematical formula. Mida keneged mida. Measure for measure. What you do, that's what you're gonna get. You do good, eventually I will reward you for what you did. You do bad, eventually I will make you pay for what you chose to do against my will. That's what it is. However, you come and say, very nice, very logical, but I don't see it. I'm not a fool. I respect God. I believe in Him. I go to synagogue. I kiss mezuzah. I even put tefillin. I respect the holidays. I try to eat kosher. Maybe I'm not perfect, but I don't see what you say, Rabbi. With all due respect, I give respect, but I'm a logical person. I see a lot of righteous people suffer in the cancer department in a hospital, and I see Nazis living to 90s. I see Arab Hamas making millions, and I see rabbis who cannot afford an electric bike to go to the shul. Well, they don't have money. They need people to help them with a mortgage. So where is this justice that you're talking about? I don't get it. These Nazis make millions. Saddam Hussein has $40 billion. Khomeini has $20 billion. And the biggest tzaddik in the yeshiva barely pays his rent. Where do you see logic here? Your stories, you can tell someone else. But I live based on what I see. And what I see is the opposite of what you say. Can you blame him? What do you want? It's not a fool. It's clever. I always tell parents that come to me and say, Rabbi, I have problems with my child. Why? He's rebelling. He's making problems in yeshiva. He has a lot of heretic questions. He's challenging the rabbis. His questions shows that he's a non-believer. He's questioning the Torah. He's questioning the Gemara. He's questioning Chazal, the sages. Another month like this, they throw him out of yeshiva. He's a pin in the neck. He's a burden. All the rabbis don't know how to handle him. Why did God punish me with such a kid? I answer, you are the luckiest person in the world. Finally, one kid is smart. He is the smartest kid in the class. Just because he's skeptic, just because he asks hard questions, just because he's not an idiot and not everything you feed him, he say amen, doesn't make him wicked and make him a thinking person. That's what Judaism is all about. The entire Talmud is questions and answers. It's all philosophy. All the Chachamim, arguments about every topic in life. About giving birth, about raising children, about how to get married, how to watch your health, about faith, how much efforts you have to put in life, about honesty, about Jews and non-Jews, about male and female, about how to make a woman happy. There's not one topic in life that the Torah did not discuss. Everything you ever thought about, it's written somewhere in Judaism. Judaism is wider than an ocean. If you take in ink the amount of water we have in the world, which is 72% of the world, and you begin to write just the answer to the question, if God knows the future, how exactly I'm choosing, just the answer to this question will take you longer than the ink of the entire amount of water in the universe. If you take all the water in the world, it's 72%. It's a lot of water. If you put it in a pen and you begin to write an answer, how does it work with trillions of scenarios in the world? How do I choose to be good or bad if God already knew how I'm going to be when I die? The day I was born, I have now 80 years of life. The second I came out to the world, he already knew if I will die righteous or I will die wicked. So if he already knew, how exactly I'm even choosing what to do, right? It's a very famous question. The Rambam say the answer to this question is wider than the ocean. But we know in the book of God it says, be very careful not to be wicked. You must be righteous. You must follow my instruction for your own good. If you would listen to me, I will reward you for eternity. It's a clear verse in the Torah. When you leave the world, la'atifcha b'acharitecha, when your end will come, the reward will begin. Meaning, when the soul exits the body will go back to the ground because that's where it came from, and the soul will go back to the court of heaven. They will analyze your life, and a decision will be made. They will check if you shomer Shabbat, if you ate kosher, if your wife went to the mikveh, if your children went to yeshivot, if you make brachot on your food, if you ate kosher food, if you are a decent person, if you work on your personality, character, you improve yourself all your life, you are a man of kindness, you help a lot of people. That's when you're going to go to a very good place for eternal pleasure. And if you do the exact opposite of what I mentioned, then you actually will have to deal with the consequences of your choices. So the Torah is very, very clear. It's actually one of the 13 principles of Judaism. One of the 13 principles. You have a building, and the building is standing on 13 poles. If you take one of them out, the entire building would collapse. You ask the engineer, he'll tell you, don't do it. You take it out. If you take this pole out, this whole floor will fall down. Just one. That's it. It holds the entire ceiling. If you take one of the 13 principles out of Judaism, you mess up the whole system. The whole divine operation will fall apart. One of the 13 principles of Judaism is to know that everything is supervised, everything is recorded, video and audio, every moment of your life, and in the end, et hakol yavi Hashem b'mishpat. Everyone will be judged. Jews, non-Jews, everybody will stand in a court of heaven. His soul will stand there. The body will go to the ground. The body will be dissolved. The soul will stand in front of God, and every second of your life will be analyzed, and a decision will be made where to send you, to a wonderful place, or to, God forbid, the exact opposite. So therefore, whatever is going to happen to you is 100% in your hand. The Gemara say, nobody asks you if you be smart or stupid. Nobody asks you if you be a man or a woman. Nobody asks you if you be pretty or ugly. Nobody asks you if you be tall or short, if you're going to have healthy life in general or sick life. Not always is in your hand. It could be genetic. Everything was decided for you. Your parents, your city where you'll be born, your sharpness of your brain, everything was decided for you. If you be rich or poor, you're born to a rich parents, you're lucky. Everything for you is ready. You're born in a poor in a family, everything is a struggle. Nobody asked you. It was all decided for you. Except one thing that is 100% in your hand. To be righteous or wicked, lo ne'emar, the Gemara say. If you be righteous like Moshe Rabbeinu or wicked like Yerovam ben Navat, is 100% in your hand. How you become righteous? You follow the instructions of the book of God. In the book of God it says how to be righteous and how to be wicked. It's 100%. It's all written. You shomer Shabbat, you're righteous. You chose not to be shomer Shabbat, you're rebelling against the instruction of your Creator. The difference between us and God, one major difference is that we react instantly. We don't have patience. If somebody now insulted you, you cannot rest until you get him back. You want a revenge. You want to see him being punished. You want to correct things. You cannot wait another hour. You are going crazy. If the police will tell you your court case will be in 6 months, It drives you crazy. You would agree to pay a lot of money to make it faster because you want him in jail yesterday. You don't want to wait 6 months. You suffer. The fact that someone who hurt you is free and is enjoying and he did not get what he deserved drives you crazy. It's a combination of revenge, ego. This is the way we are. We think we understand everything, so we want to see results immediately. But with the creator of the world, it doesn't work like this. He does not react instantly to our action. I'll give you an example. It's written in the Torah 12 times that rule number 1 to become a Jew is to be Shomer Shabbat. Judaism begins, you have a key. You have a key to the gate. You come to your beautiful mansion, outside there is a gate. If you don't have the key to the gate, it won't help you if you have the key to the house. You have the key to the house, but you don't have the key to the gate. You're going to be stuck in the street, freezing, snowing, rain on your head. Oh my God, I don't have the key for the gate. But you have the key to the house and to the rooms. How does it help me? I don't have the main key. I cannot enter my property. That's Shabbat. That's why Shabbat was given to the Jewish people before the Torah was given. Because without it, there is no Judaism. It's written 7 times in the Jewish book of law. Mechalel Shabbat, exclude himself from Judaism completely. He cut himself out of Judaism. Rule number 1, you want to be my son, you want to be a Jew, you must be Shomer Shabbat. You don't want, it's your choice. Nobody forces you what to do. But you should know that you cut yourself out of my nation. And therefore, it's written 7 times in the Jewish book of law, Mechalel Shabbat actually cut himself out of Judaism. It's not, I didn't write it. This is all divine laws. How many times Shabbat is mentioned in the Torah? 12 times. More than anything. 12 times. And the Torah say, some of us do Kiddush, but we don't really pay attention, especially those who don't speak Hebrew. They don't always understand what they say. But let me clarify it to you. You stand on Friday night, after synagogue, you hold the wine, and you read a part from the Torah. You read a part from the Torah. It's written in a book of God that we got in Mount Sinai in front of millions of witnesses. What do we say? Veshamru bnei Israel et ha-Shabbat. And the nation of Israel observed the Sabbath. La'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. To do Shabbat for their generations, an eternal covenant. Eternal agreement. לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ברית means an agreement, covenant, peace agreement. That's ברית. ביני ובין בני ישראל אות היא לעולם. Between me, who is speaking here? The creator of the world. Between me and the nation of Israel, it's a sign for eternity. Listen to every word here. This is all divine words. ביני ובין בני ישראל אות היא לעולם. It's a sign for eternity between me and the nation of Israel. What is the sign for what? That I created the world in 6 days, and in a 7th day I rested. I did not create anything anymore. What does it say? That's where we stop in a Kiddush. We don't read the rest, because we don't want to bring a curse on ourselves. That's why we don't include it in a Kiddush. But it's written in the Torah. You have to go to the Torah and read the rest. What is the rest? The next verse. Mechaleleha. Someone that makes Shabbat a regular weekday. Drives a car, television, phone, laptop. Everything is usual. Boiling water, cooking, grinding, riding. All the things that you're not allowed to do on Shabbat. Mechalelea, those who make Shabbat a regular day. Some even open the business. Mechalelea mot yumat, should be put to death in this world and in the next eternal world. Twice, here and there. Here, no. How many years we live here anyway? 80, 90? Not the end of the world. So a person lost 10 years. But over there is eternal death. That's critical here. מות יומת, the Rambam writes, מות בעולם הזה, יומת בעולם הבא, ונכרתה הנפש ההיא מעמיה. I will cut that soul out of my nation permanently. End of story. Once a person's soul comes out of the body, he actually brought it on himself. How many Jews in the world knows it? Maybe 10%. Even religious people don't know what I just told you. Even though they read it in the Kiddush thousands of times, they don't pay attention what they say. It's simple Hebrew. You don't even need Rashi for that. Just read. Someone who makes Shabbat a regular day betrayed me. Cut himself out of my nation. Will lose his share to the world to come. Completely. If the Jews would know that, I promise you that you would not have even 10% of the Jews in the world that will dare to drive a car on Shabbat. Because it's written, you're not allowed to create fire on Shabbat. Lo tevaru esh b'chol moshvotechem b'yom HaShabbat, all over the world. But when you start a car, it's fire. It's like 1,000,000 cigarettes. One drive from Roslyn to Manhattan, it's like smoking 1,000,000 cigarettes, the amount of fire in the engine. Now comes the big question. You read to me what's written in the Torah. What's written is written. There's no argument about it. Simple understanding. But in reality, it just does not happen. There are a lot of Mechalelei Shabbat in their 90s. There's a lot of Shomrei Shabbat already passed in their 40s or 50s or 60s. So where is what's written in the Torah? I don't see it. If I saw it, believe me, I would be more a rabbi than you. But because I don't see it, I follow my head and my eyes. I don't care what's written. Good question or no? Good point or not? Very bad and very stupid argument. Who comes from ignorance. Not because a person is stupid, it can be a big doctor or mathematician. It comes from ignorance. Why? I'll tell you why. If every time a person will break the rules of God, the punishment would come in 1 second, right after. Or every time a person will do a good deed, the reward will come right away. There would not be a world. Nobody here could live another second. I'll tell you why. If a person gave $100 to a poor person on the street, and a minute later his phone beeps, someone just sent him with quick pay 200. Wow, I just gave 100, I made 200. Let me try another one. He comes to another homeless. You, come here. Here, 200. Up, toot. $400 was sent to your Zelle quick pay. Wow, fantastic. Come to another one. You, it's your turn. Take 400. Toot. 800 came. Fantastic business. Warren Buffett would come for donations from you. Help me out. Nobody double his money every minute like you. The whole world would fight, killing each other. Rabbi, catch. No, I have enough. I can't. I don't know what to do with the money. No, Rabbi, it's not fair. Why you take from him and not from me? Come on. Right or wrong? Everybody would want to double their money every second. Every time I give tzedakah, immediately I double my money. Or the other way around. You went to someone's court, you stole $1,000, toot. You just lost in the stock market 2,000. You go to another court, stole 2,000, toot, you just lost 4,000. Every time, whatever you steal, you lose double in a minute later. Would you ever steal from that moment on? You have to be super stupid to steal. Every time you steal 1,000, you lose right away 2,000. No one would ever touch a paper cup without permission. Where is the rabbi? Rabbi, can I use the cup? Well, of course, but it's in the kitchen. No, I just want to make sure before I make myself coffee. It's only 1 cent. Cent or not, I'm working on my stealing. Why? Every time I touch something without permission, immediately I lose. If a person would light a cigarette on Shabbat, the Torah says you should not create fire on Shabbat. Explosion in his face. גדל והתקדש מרבה. הלך לעולמו. His friend saw it. Oh my God. Another person came. No. Explosion. Second person lit a cigarette. Boom. Exploded. A third person started the car, boom, explosion. After 3 or 4 cases, everybody would get the point, no? Nobody would move on Shabbat. Moshe, where are you? Shh, don't talk. Why? Shabbat. Help me out, I'm afraid to move. Why am I afraid by mistake? His shoulder hit the light. What happened to him? I don't want to move. Moshe, I need help with the kids. Shh, don't talk. Talk to me after Shabbat. Everybody would freeze on Shabbat, would lock themselves in a closet. Why? Accidentally that I won't break Shabbat, because right away I will explode. Because the Torah said that everyone who breaks Shabbat, it's instant death. Who would like to even take a risk? What kind of a world we will have? It's like a gun to your head. Of course, with a gun to the head, everybody will be righteous. But there's no test. Where is the test? If you take an Arab, Mustafa, come here. From now on, you must be Shomer Shabbat. But I'm not Jewish. Don't worry, from now on you are. If you light fire on Shabbat, boom, I blow your head up. Mustafa will be the Chazan in a synagogue. So, I'm Shomer Shabbat already 10 years. Why? There's a gun to his head. Does he deserve a reward for being Shomer Shabbat? Come on. Every fool understands, with a gun to the head, you'll do whatever they tell you. Why? Because it's not your free will. Someone is forcing you what to do. So because Hashem doesn't want to force anyone to do anything, He gave us a power of will. We choose what we want to do. We choose. Animals do not choose. They always will follow instinct. A dog see food, boom. A dog see female, his tail begins to move. A dog see water, wide away, jump, swim, enjoy. They will always behave the same. You know by your dog, if you give him this kind of food or this one, he will always take this one. Why? Because he follows his desire and instinct. What's the main difference between people and animals? An animal cannot choose. Animals also choose what to do. A dog can choose if to get up now and go up to the backyard. He's in the mood to roll in the grass. He got up and he went outside. You didn't force him to go. He decided it's too hot for him or too cold. He wants to go outside. So he chose to go from here to there. You put something over here and you put something over there. He looks, he chooses to go to this thing, to play here and not to play there. You gave him a yellow ball, you gave him a red ball, he was in the mood to play with the red ball. So you see, he's choosing. It's not a robot. However, the animals can never choose to do something against their own will. Never. They will always do what they want to do. And there's no way to convince them otherwise. You cannot tell the lion, before you kill the zebra, can you give us 5 more minutes? We're taking pictures. Wait 5 minutes. We didn't finish taking pictures. After we finish the pictures, enjoy the food. There's no way. He is hungry right now, he must eat. Why? He follows his instinct. A human being is the only species in nature that wants to do something badly and can hold himself and not do it. Why? Because the creator of the world say you're not allowed. That's only people can do. Animals cannot do that. Animals will always go in the same way, always. But people, you want to eat something right now, you are very hungry, but someone just told you it's not kosher. So you're dying to eat, you're craving, you have strong desire for this steak now or whatever it is, and you say, I will wait 2 more hours until I get home and have kosher food. Why? If you eat non-kosher, it contaminates the blood, and the blood sticks the soul into the body, improve the performance of the soul. If you eat non-kosher food, you become an impure person. You become spiritually dumb, not physically dumb. Let me explain the difference. You can be a great professor. You can be a big doctor. You can be a great scientist. You can be the champion in the world in chess. You're definitely not a stupid person. Not one person would think you're stupid. But when it comes to spirituality, you're very, very dumb. What makes you dumb? The blood that is created in your body is created from illegal food. You are putting in your system food that the creator of the world say Jews are not allowed to eat this food. It doesn't make any difference in everyday life. If you're an athlete, you run just as good when you eat pork or when you eat glad kosher beef. It gives you the same vitamins. The reason that we're not allowed to eat specific food is not because it's not healthy like some people think. Some non-kosher food is very healthy. It has a lot of minerals, it has a lot of vitamins, but it's not allowed to eat. It's nothing to do with healthy or not healthy. It's creating blood. Food creates blood. The Torah say, Adam hu nefesh. Nefesh glues the soul into the body and improve the performance of the soul. It's like the gas you put in your car. If you put the wrong gas in a car, the engine will not perform as well, maybe 70%. When I was in the Israeli Air Force, we had tractors that we used to bring missiles from the bunkers and connect them to the F-16 airplanes. The problem with this tractor, it was designed to drive 15 kilometers per hour, meaning it's like walking. And nobody has patience. Move already. This tractor doesn't move. They designed it to drive slow on purpose because you're moving missiles. Each missile is $150,000, falls on the floor, can damage. It's a lot of money and can also explode. They're designed to drive slow. But you know, Israelis don't have that much patience. Everything in Israel. Israel is the only country that the speed of voice is faster than the speed of light. You know why? Because that's the only country that before the light become green, people already hung. Here, people wait a second or two. They see you're not moving, they hang. Why? The speed of light is faster than the speed of the voice. But in Israel, before it's green tap, making sure. So, you know, so we're getting here the points. The point is that we used to go crazy that this tractor doesn't move. So one guy said, I have an idea. Instead of putting regular gasoline, let's put special gasoline of the F-16 in a tractor. The gasoline of F-16, it's called Delek Siloni. It's very, very high quality. And it's also much more expensive than regular gas that you get here in a pump. So we started to give the tractor F-16 gas. Instead of 15, it drove 30. Saves us hours. You go all the way to the mountain, to the bunkers, you bring it, it drives much faster. So now the job gets done a lot faster. There was only one problem. Every 2 months, the engine of the tractor goes dead. Until they started to investigate, and they found out that you put the wrong gasoline in a tractor. Same thing here. A person will eat non-kosher food. The blood that is created in his system is contaminated spiritually, not physically. Physically in a lab, same blood. Take blood that was made from pork and worms and all kinds of non-kosher food. Take blood that was made from glad kosher fish or meat, whatever, same blood in a lab. Same thing. Spiritually, huge difference. One is pure and one is impure. The impure makes you very smart spiritually. You come to learn Gemara, your brain works like a computer. You understand all the questions, you understand the answers, you understand the hidden question, you understand all the possibilities. Why? Not because you became a smarter human being. You're the same mathematician. Because your soul is functioning better spiritually. But the main thing, every time someone gives you 2 options in front of you, a positive and a negative, something that God loves, something that he hates, you will always be attracted to what he loves. But if you eat non-kosher food, you will be attracted to all the negative things in the world. To lack of modesty, to bad movies, to be mechalel Shabbat, to not to learn, not to understand the learning. You'll see a huge difference, and I will prove it to you. I'll prove it to you. We make seminars for many, many years. Sometimes we make seminars that we have a husband and wife that coming, weekend seminar in hotel. The wife is in a classroom, and the husband is sitting in the lobby with his laptop or play with his phone. He refused to come into the classroom. It's very anti-religious. Anti-religion. This Israeli snob. Nobody will tell me what to do. What does this rabbi have to say? I don't want to waste my time. So why you came? She drove me crazy. Come with me to the seminar. But he doesn't go into the classroom. Every once in a while, I'm talking to you from 25 years of experience. I saw it hundreds of times. Not once or twice or 10 or 20. Hundreds of times. I testify in front of you today. Every once in a while, he comes in out of curiosity for 10, 15 minutes. Then he gets up. And he goes out. Smoke. Shabbat. Outside, in the lobby, outside, in the parking. Comes in, out. 5 minutes, sits inside. Goes out again. Doesn't have patience. First day, he argue with everything the speaker say. You believe it? I don't believe it. Nah. First day is very negative. Second day is already a little bit softened. By the third day, he puts tzitzit and he dances with the rabbis. Okay? So if he was someone that sit in a classroom from morning to night 3 days in a row, even the world become religious after they watch my film Torah and Science. It's 4 hours proofs, one after the other, it leaves no doubt. Everybody becomes a believer. All you have to do is to show them this video, Torah and Science, that's it. It's end of story. It was translated to 9 different languages. They go in, immediately come, Rabbi, help me to convert. Right away. They watched it, right away, I'm begging you, please help me out. I want to be a religious Jew. What changed their entire life? Understanding. They were ignorant, and now they're not. That's it. So if he would come into the classroom, and now he changed his attitude, I understand. He saw a lot of proofs. But this is a guy who barely came into the class. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, that's it. How in the third day he's dancing with the rabbis? I'll tell you how. His entire life he eats not kosher. Where he lives, he goes to a non-kosher restaurant, he eats in a house non-kosher. The entire blood system by him, it's all impure. Therefore, he can never tell the difference between good and bad when it comes to spiritual choices. Because he's in a hotel by now for 72 hours, his entire blood changed in the body. The whole blood now is made from kosher, glad kosher, extra glad kosher food. By the third day, he's a whole different human being. You don't have to beg him, you don't have to prove to him, already dancing with the rabbi, change his entire attitude. Unbelievable. Like a magic. One person once told me, Rabbi, you don't know what you're missing. I take you to this restaurant in Manhattan, Peter Luger. You have Argentinian steak like this. It's so soft and juicy like butter. You don't know. You eat kosher meat, you compare this to this. You don't know what you're missing. So I said, so what's the difference between my kosher steak, which is also happen to be pretty thick, to the steak that you buy in the supermarket for half a price? Half a price. So I pay $12 a pound, you pay $6 a pound, right? That's what is it about? That's it. So a few dollars a week difference between No, it's not about the money. It's about the meat is tender. It's unbelievable. So I say to him, okay, let me spoil your party. Allow me to explain to you why your meat is a little bit softer and juicier. When we slaughter the cow, after all the blood comes from the neck, once you slaughter, you open the stomach, open it up, get all the dirt out, and put tons of thick salt, and it brings out all the blood and the urine out of the system. Then we wash the meat very nice and it's clean, so it's a little bit less juicy. When you buy non-kosher meat, let me tell you what happened to you. How they kill the cows by non-kosher facilities. They electrocute them. You have now 80 cows standing on a metal floor. They raise the volume to 500 voltage. They all get shocked. They fall on the floor and they all die. Now comes all the workers. They check off the head. They begin to open the skin. It takes 7-8 hours, sometimes even 10 hours. In the meantime, all the urine, which is buckets of urine that is in the stomach of the cow, and buckets of blood are being absorbed slowly into the meat. They are marinated in the urine and in the blood. So it makes the meat very juicy. But I'm giving up on such a juice. Let you eat it. I rather eat it a little bit less juicy. Why? If I will take my steak and marinate it in the urine of the cow and add some blood of it and mix, would you dare to eat? For $1,000 a piece, you would not dare to buy it. Why? So why are you enjoying it? Because you are ignorant. You're not stupid. You're ignorant. You never know why it's soft. If you would see the entire process, you would never dare to touch it, even if you're a non-religious guy. So I'm sure now you're not going to eat non-kosher meat after this explanation, because now you understand why it's juicier and why it costs some less money. Why? The process is a lot faster. You don't have to slaughter, you don't have to put salt. It's a little bit different. I give you a few more examples. When a person wants to see immediate response by Hashem, that lack of understanding how life is. The Torah say, I am testing you to see what's in your heart. Do you love me or not? We have an obligation in Shema Yisrael, we say it every day. Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad, ואהבת את השם אלוקיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. You have an obligation to love your God with all your heart and all your soul, meaning your good inclination, your bad inclination, and בכל מאודיך with all your money. You're willing to sacrifice everything you have, your life, your money, for the sake of loving your God. That's an obligation in the Torah. It's a verse in the Torah. We say it every day 3 times. Shachrit, Arvit, and before we go to sleep. The question now, it's very important to love your Creator. Why? Because it's a big crime to be an ungrateful human being. If somebody asks you, why you love your mother? She took care of me, she raised me, she cried for me. 25 years, she's basically taking care of me non-stop like a servant. How can I not love her? Love and gratefulness connects to each other. The more grateful you are to a person, the more you love and appreciate him. The more you are amazed from someone's ability, the more you fall in love with him. Right? It's not enough just to see a pretty person. That's enough to start the attraction and the connection. But if the person is dirty, and he's behaved horrible, there's not going to be good connection. The greater the person is, the better the connection would be. If a person gives you a lot from his heart, unconditional love, gifts, all kinds of things for you, the more he does for you, the more you are connected. That's why sometimes you're willing to die for him. We saw a soldier in Israel, Roy Klein, alav shalom. He was a commander of few soldiers. One Arab threw what was that? Huh? Grenade. One Arab threw a grenade on the floor. About 6 or 7 soldiers were about to die, and their commander ran and jumped on the grenade with the stomach and exploded on his heart, and he gave his life to save the life of his soldiers. He could have run. He could have run. He saw it. They didn't pay attention. He could have run and saved his life, but he ran to the other direction, and he jumped on it, and he saved the life of those soldiers. Why? Love. I have to save my soldiers. It's good connection here. That's just one example. Now the Torah says, I'm testing you. Every second of your life is a test. Twice the Torah used the word, Ki menaseh Hashem etchem. I'm testing you. One time is to see if you love me or not, if you are an ungrateful person or not. That's one test. And the second test is, will you keep my mitzvot or not? Ki menaseh Hashem etchem. What's the purpose of the test? The answer is to reward you in your end. When you finish your job here in the world of test, I will begin to reward you for passing my test. Right now I don't touch you. You break Shabbat, you're still alive. You even make millions. Business is booming. You are healthy. I found you a great wife. I gave you 3-4 great children. Everybody is healthy, Baruch Hashem. You're enjoying life. You have a nice car. You have a nice watch. You have millions of dollars in your bank account. Your brain functions pretty well. You know, you have a lot of honor. Everywhere you go, people respect you. You're an important person. All of that I'm giving you. What do you do with that? You receive everything from me. You never appreciate it. You never say thank you. You never say a blessing on your food. You never say Birkat Hamazon. You never appreciate and give me the credit for giving you everything you have. Not only you don't appreciate it, you take it from me and use it against me. I gave you this amazing Mercedes for $200,000. What do you do with that? Drive it on Shabbat to get me angry and upset. I gave you oxygen. You take it for 80 years for free. Use it against me. I gave you a sharp head. All day you cheat in a business and steal from people. I gave you strength. All day you torture people. I gave you a great wife. All day you torture her. I gave you great children. All day you abuse them. Everything I gave you, you use it against me. Why? Because you never learned Torah. If you would sit and read my Torah once in your life, you know what? You don't need to read the whole Torah. Just Sefer Dvarim, Deuteronomy. 5 hours. That's it. Read it once. I know a religious woman. She took the advice of Rabbi Pinto. Rabbi Pinto started to speak very strong about reading Sefer Dvarim. She's religious for many, many years, this woman. She said, you know what? I'm going to start reading Sefer Dvarim. She is a religious woman, very modest, keeping all the mitzvot. When she read it for the first time, she came to me and she said, wow, I'm shocked. My whole life changed. I look at life completely different from now on. For the first time, I understood how severe it is. How strict is the judgment. How critical is the test. How huge is the reward. And how huge is the punishment. It's not instant, but for sure it will come. Let's conclude a few things. Very, very foolish decision to eat non-kosher. You're destroying your soul. What's the big deal? Everywhere you go today, you have glad kosher. Glad kosher here, everything. Pizza, glad kosher. Sushi, glad kosher. Barbecue, glad kosher. Bread, kosher. Everything kosher. There's no problem, especially here in New York. Some places in the world, it's a little bit hard to get. Here, just like in Israel, everywhere. Change your bad habits. Don't ever touch something not kosher, and makes a huge damage to your soul. Remember this. It does not pay to save a few $100s a month. It's very, very foolish. End of story. Second, you don't want, chas v'shalom, to be in a position of being a mechalel Shabbat. Why? Because when a person leaves the world, Hashem will say to him, I'm very sorry. I would want very much to send you to be with your father and grandfather and grand-grandfather all the way to Moshe Rabbeinu. Especially a lot of Persians, they come from very holy background. Persians and Iraqis, that's where the Gemara used to be. Everybody thinks the Gemara came from Bavel, from Iraq, but most of the Chachamim lived in Iran, the other side of the border. There were many, many big Dolei Torah hundreds of years ago were from Persia. Jewish history has a lot to do with Persia. The whole story of Purim, who comes next week, it's all was in Iran, in Persia. All the Jews in Iran were all holy. There was not one secular Jew in Iran, ever. When Haman came to Ahasuerus and said, there is this weird people, weird nation, they dress different than us, they speak different language than us, they have different religion than us, give me permission to wipe them out. I'll give you tons of money, loaves of gold, silver, whatever. Just give me the permission. King Ahasuerus knew what he's talking about. He gave him the ring. Do whatever you want with them. Then we had a miracle, everything turned around. That's the story of Purim. If today you would come to Joe Biden, hey Joe, come here. Baruch Hashem, he called Bibi today, after a month. He called Bibi, Baruch Hashem. Hey, Bibi. Oh, what's up, Joe? What's up, brother? All these fake politics. Anyway, you come to Joe. Joe, come here. I want to ask you a question. There is a nation in America, they are very strange. They speak different language, they dress different, their religion is different than us. I would like you to give me permission to wipe them all out. Joe will say to you, you're out of your mind, I love Muslims. I actually want to bring Quran into the schools. That's what I say before I got elected when I went to them. He said that. I don't know if you saw that video. I promise you, ladies, when I'll be president of the United States, I will make it mandatory to learn Islam and Quran in public school all over America. It's on YouTube. So Sleepy Joe would say, excuse me, I don't know what you're talking about. Why should we kill the Muslims? Just because they dress different and they speak different language and have different religions? No, Joe, I wasn't talking about the Muslim. I was talking about the Jews. So he would say to him, what, are you out of your mind? My entire government are Jews. They dress like me. They speak like me. They went to the same university like me. They eat the same pork like me and shrimps. And they marry the same women like me. As a matter of fact, all my grandchildren are Jewish. You want to kill them? That would be a big embarrassment. Because there's no difference between the Jews and the Goyim in America. Besides some Hasidim and some black hats. That's just about it. A few 100,000, that's it. 6 million Jews in America, 5 million of them, 100% like Goyim. Now, one thing about them is Jewish. Most of them did not even have bar mitzvah. Some of them don't have mezuzot. Some of them never had brit milah. Most of them are reform, complete reform. No connection to Torah whatsoever. Now, one mitzvah they don't keep. Now, one mitzvah from the 613 they don't keep. Most of them never even heard about the Torah. Never even heard about the Torah. Yesterday I had a boy in my lecture from, what's the state? Portland, Oregon, Portland. I asked him, there are Jews in Oregon? He said, yes, I have all my friends. They're going crazy that I became religious now. So he told me, Rabbi, I remember you spoke about the Holocaust and people got angry. I said, yeah, of course I remember. How can I forget? So he said to me, I'm an example that you said 100% the truth. Me and all my Jewish friends are all Goyim, according to the Torah. My father is Jewish, my mother is not. All my friends, their fathers are Jewish, their mothers are not. So based on what you say, it's 100% true. If the Nazis will come now to America, and I want to make an Holocaust to 6 million Jews, 5 million of them, according to the Torah, are not Jewish. You kill them for nothing. They're not even Jewish. That's what happened in Europe. What do you think? People marry non-Jewish women. According to the Torah, their children are not Jewish. Every 100 people in America that their last name is Cohen, only 15 of them are Jewish by the Torah laws. 85% of them are not Jewish. Why? Mr. Cohen married a non-Jewish woman. He has 4 kids. 4 Kohanim, but they're all Goyim. They're not Kohanim. Their last name is Cohen, but they're not Jewish. Their last name is Mizrachi, but they're not Jewish. Their last name is Levi, but they're not Jewish. Their last name is Rosenfeld, but they're not Jewish. It goes by the mother, not the father, so the last name means nothing. You can have a last name Abdul, and you are Jewish. There is a singer, Abdul, she's Jewish. Her mother is Jewish, his father is Arab. Her last name is Abdul, she's Jewish. People that their last name is Cohen, they are Goyim. You got the point? So therefore, when Chas v'Shalom, these anti-Semites would like to kill Jews, they don't understand the laws of the Torah. Everyone who has Jewish blood in him, we must kill. Even a quarter Jewish, even an eighth, kill them. But they're Goyim. They have nothing to do with Judaism. Their neshama is not of Jews. It doesn't matter. His father's grandmother is Jewish, kill them. That's why they kill hundreds of thousands of people who were Goyim 100%, one after the other. I remember I had a Shabbaton right here in Stony Brook College, here in Long Island. The University of Scientists. There's a rabbi over there, Chabadnik, is in charge of the Jewish program, invited me for Shabbat. Friday night, they have a meal. They invite all the students to come. There were more than 100 boys and girls in the university, and only one sink to wash their hands. Only one sink. It's going to take an hour, more. 100 people to do Netilat Yadayim. So the rabbi over there found a good way to cut the line. He stands by the sink. Everyone who comes, is your mother Jewish? No. You don't need to wash. Go. Is your mother Jewish? No. Go. Is your mother Jewish? No. Your mother Jewish? Yeah. Wash. What's with you? Your mother? Anyone? Your mother Jewish? No. Go sit. You don't. They don't ask questions. These Americans. They stand over there.
He's my rabbi. Every time we need someone to turn on the lights, that's what he does. He goes, "Are you Jewish?"
So you know who I'm talking about? Adam, Rabbi Adam. So right away, the line from 110 or 120 students in 2 minutes became 50. There's 120 people that they're all thinking they're Jewish. But in reality, only 50 of them were Jewish. That's it right there. And a perfect example. Many of them wants to be Shomer Shabbat. They're not allowed. If your mother is not Jewish, you're not allowed to be Shomer Shabbat. So there is a serious problem. Assimilation is a silent Holocaust. The Jewish people should have been 4 billion people, minimum. We are only 15 million in the entire world. Not even 1% of 1% than what we should have been. How come 99.9% of us disappeared from the face of the earth? The answer is pogroms and Holocaust, but that's the secondary reason. The main reason is assimilation by choice. Assimilation by choice. A lot of American Ashkenazi Jews are married to German people that their parents or grandparents were active Nazis. I met few of them. I say, you're not embarrassed to get married to a boy that tells you that his father was an SS soldier or grandfather that killed your entire family and your grandparents and your uncles in Europe, and you go and marry them? He's a good person, I don't care. That's the story of the Jewish people. Assimilation. Why we should have been 4 billion? Let's do the math. 4,200 years ago, there was a big flood. All the people in the world died. It was a little bit worse than Corona. Corona did not kill even 1% of the people in the world. There's about 3-4 million people died. That's it. It's not even 1% of 1% of the population in the world. It made a huge damage to the world, yes, but it wasn't such a huge pandemic. Pandemic would be 1 billion people dead. From 7.5 billion, 1 billion died. There's about 12-13%. That's massive. billion bodies out there, the world will be finished. You won't be able to recover maybe 20 years after that. Where are you going to bury all of them? How are you going to handle it? Funerals, disaster. The financial system, a lot of doctors will be gone, a lot of scientists will be gone, politicians, soldiers. It will make such a mess. Even now, 6,000 people in Israel almost died, and the country is destroyed mentally. I'm telling you, I speak to them every day. Destroyed mentally in Israel, completely. 1 million people are unemployed, a disaster. It will take now more than 7 years to go back to what we were last March. Everything we gained in 72 years since Israel became a state and became a very successful example to the world, how these Jewish people made Israel paradise. It was all swamp. There was nothing to eat when we got there, and we made it paradise. Everything got wiped out. Israel is more than 200 billion shekel deficit right now in the government's account. And in Israel, it's not like here, they give you weekly checks. Nobody gets anything. People starve to death almost. You have to see what's happening. 6,000 people, and the country is almost destroyed completely in all aspects. I don't have to tell you what kind of hatred he created between religious and non-religious. Everybody wants to kill each other. It's your fault. It's your fault. You don't put a mask. You don't want to get a vaccine. It made us destroyed completely. In the flood 4,200 years ago, there was only 8 people left. Noah and his wife, his 3 sons, and their wives. They came out of the ark after a year, and the world got restarted. The Jews came from Shem, the righteous son of Noah. Someone that hates Jews, you call him anti-Semite. Sem is the son of Noah. Anti-Semite, meaning you hate the race of Shem. We are the Jews. The Europeans came from Yefet, in English, Jeff. Yefet means beauty. All the Germans, the Scandinavians, the Italians, the French, they got the beauty, the nice color, the hair, the eyes. And America is also from Europe, from Holland, from England. They all came here, Germans. That's what you see here in America. So that's the children of Yefet. All the Africans, they all came from Ham. Also the Chinese people that lives now in China. It's written that Canaan, from Canaan, who came? Vayoledet Asini. Sini, Chinese. That means Shem was a great uncle of the Sini in the same generation. The Jews, the Hebrews, and the Chinese started in the same generation 4,200 years ago. How many people live in China today? 2 billion. 1.5 billion are registered. 500 million are not registered. Why there is 500 million Chinese without ID? Because in China you have restriction on birth. You're only allowed to have 1 child per family. If your wife became pregnant second time, either you have to abort or you have to leave China. Or the government will take away your child. So you can't go against the system over there. There's no human rights. So what do, the Chinese? They hide the entire time of the pregnancy in some basement. They give birth to a boy, just like the Jews in Egypt. They had to hide the babies. And this baby have no passport, no ID. It's not in a system of the government. So 2 billion Chinese. Jews should have been 4 billion because Jews never had restriction on birth. Right? A Jewish family at 12, 14, 15. Ask your grandparents in Iran. Every family, 7 and up. It was not less. So we should have been 4 billion. So where did they go? 99.9% of us all got wiped out by choice. Now I don't get it. We fight the Hamas. How many Jews the Hamas kill? Maximum few hundreds. We fight the Hezbollah. How many Jews the Hezbollah killed? Maximum few dozens. We fight Syria. How many Jews Syria killed? Not even 1,000. We fight Egypt until we made an agreement with them. How many Jews they killed? 1,000 or 2,000. Iraq, same story. Iran, nothing. Yeah, Iran sponsored terrorism. Few hundred Jews died because of Iran. The Nazis killed few million Jews. Whatever it was, only Hashem knows the exact number. But they killed a lot of Jews. But nothing compared to how much we killed because we betrayed God and ignore His instructions in the Torah. The Torah says, do not mix with any other nation. Not because you are better than him. Not because you are better than her. Maybe that Gentile is a righteous Gentile like Eov. He can be a prophet of the Goyim. And you can be a very big criminal Jew. A horrible person. You can be a murderer. You can be a thief. You can be Mechalel Shabbat. You can do a lot of horrible things in your life. And this Goy or Goya is an angel compared to you. There's no question who is better human being, you or him. He is much better than you. However, you are not allowed to marry her, even though she's 1,000,000 times better than you. She's modest, she's loyal, she loves God, she loves the Jewish nation. She wants even to convert one day. So she's much better than you. I had many goyot that started to listen to my lectures because they were in relationship with a Jewish guy or Israeli guy. So they have to convert. If she want to marry Itzik, she have to be Jewish. But you will be shocked. More than half of them, after they finish the conversion process, dump the Israeli to the garbage. Get out of here. I don't want anything to do with you. What do you mean? I brought you to here from Korea, from China, from here, from there. I gave you all these things. I introduced you to the rabbi to make you Jewish. Now you're throwing me out? You're not religious. How can I marry you? How? You betrayed your own God. I don't want a husband like you. It happened many times. They say to me in the middle of the conversion process, to be honest with you, I'm not so sure I want him anymore. Look how he lives. Gets up in the morning, he doesn't pray, doesn't wash his hand, doesn't say Birkot HaShachar, does not put tefillin, eat whatever he sees, all day lie in the business. Come Shabbat, such an ungrateful person, no kiddush, no sin, no nothing. What connection he has to God? I'm more Jewish than him as it is before I even converted. I'm disgusted by the way he behaved. I heard it hundreds of times. Hundreds of times. As a matter of fact, let's be honest. I know I'm saying some hurtful things and sensitive, but the truth is above everything. Cannot be a deceivers and liars and politicians. Politicians lie for living. Rabbi is not supposed to lie for living. They have to say the truth whether you like it or hate it. Whatever happened later, it's not in their hand. They must present the truth to the people. You choose what you want to do with that. I have to tell you the truth about what's going to be your end if you die Mechalel Shabbat. If I won't do it, I am a very big criminal. A very big criminal. I'll tell you a story. I was in Belgium, in Antwerp, and I was there for a few days, and Saturday night, I had the main event. Big lecture to about 300-400 people. This was a Georgian shul. There is a Georgian community in Antwerp. They deal with gold, this. All Georgian peoples. Georgian people, they're very warm people. They have very hot heart. They're very generous. They are the most generous people in the world. There's no such thing as stingy Georgian. You will never find such thing. You come to a Gruzini, hey, Bijo, I need help. How much? How much? Don't waste my time. Take, goodbye. They have very open heart. But because the heart is so warm, sometimes they also have temper. It comes in a package deal. So I speak Motzei Shabbat about Mechalel Shabbat. What does it mean to be Mechalel Shabbat? In the middle of the lecture, I say to them, do you allow me to tell you all the truth or only half of the truth? Everybody says, say everything. You sure? You're not going to get angry at me. No, we want to know. Tov, very good, you want to know. I say to them, I would like to ask you a question. In the Torah of God, who gets a bigger punishment? Someone that is a murderer or someone that is Mechalel Shabbat? There was a total silence and shock. They were all shocked from the question. They did not prepare for such a question. They all look at me like this. Now one person make a beep. I said to them, let me prove it to you. What's the punishment of a murderer? This and this and that. What's the punishment of Mechalel Shabbat? A lot worse. Look, it's written in the Torah. Go and open the Gemara. See what the Gemara say. Open the Rambam. See what the Rambam say. Open Shulchan Aruch. See what the Shulchan Aruch say. Open the Zohar. See what the Zohar say. There's now one book that will contradict it. Everyone unanimously. The punishment of Mechalel Shabbat is a lot worse than someone who actually killed someone. Now I see this Georgian is already, I'm familiar with body language. He's already moved to the edge of the chair. He's about to jump and choke me. I see him like this. He's fuming. I say, oh, Ribono Shel Olam, please have mercy on me for another half an hour. Imagine this guy in front of everyone will choke me now, begin to curse. It's very... So he's like this, like this. I say, 1, 3, 2, 1. Boom, he got up. My blood froze. He walked on the side. There was a side door. Boom, he opened the door, went outside and locked and closed the door. So, at least he did not jump at me. Then I begin to hear screaming in the hallway. Screaming! I don't know what's going on out there. I finished the lecture. One teenager guy come to me, say to me, Rabbi, you don't know what you did. You don't know what's going on out there. I say, what? This guy got so angry. He's in a big fight with the rabbi. Apparently what happened, later I found out. He went outside. The rabbi of the synagogue is there, outside. In Hebrew. Tell me, where did you find this crazy guy to bring him over here? The rabbi said, why? Why crazy? He said, did you just hear what he said? He said that the punishment of Mechalel Shabbat in the Torah is worse than the punishment of a murderer. Where do you find people like this crazy? So the rabbi didn't answer. That rabbi over there was a soft character, but was honest. Some people are soft and not honest. He was honest. He did not want to say something not true from his mouth, so he was quiet. Why you don't say anything? He said, look, that's what's written in Shulchan Aruch, in Rambam, in the Gemara. It's really true. So you say that I come here to the synagogue on Shabbat with a car, I'm breaking Shabbat, I'm worse than a murderer? I'm not saying anything. He was afraid of me. He was a big guy. I'm just saying what the Torah say. That's what the Torah say. It's written in the Gemara, it's written everywhere. The punishment is worse, yes. Someone that is keeping Shabbat and is killing people, he still did not lose his Jewish identity. Someone that is an idol worshipper and Mechalel Shabbat count 100% like a goy in a Jewish law, book of law. That's the truth. 2 sins make you lose your Jewish status. If you be the biggest thief in the world, Madoff, you're still a Jew. You be the biggest rapist, you're a filthy person, but you're a Jew. You be a crazy pedophile, you're a horrible human being, but you're a Jew. You are the biggest liar in the history, but you're still a Jew. No matter what you do, you stay a Jew. 2 things, it makes you lose your Jewish identity. You bow down to idols, you worship a different religion, and you are Mechalel Shabbat. That's the law. You can read in the Rambam, you can read in the Shulchan Aruch, you don't have to believe me. When the rabbi told that Gruzini that that's the case, what do you think happened next? He started to scream with such pain, so it's all your fault! Why didn't you tell me 7 years? You see me coming every Shabbat with a car. If I knew this, I will never do that. 7 years he comes with a car to the shul. He was afraid to tell him, hey, you know, you're not supposed to. Sometimes the truth hurts. I was in San Diego. There was a very wealthy guy. He got up in the middle of the lecture and started to fight with me. Enough with this, I can hear it. Gets angry. People, instead of get angry at themselves for going against the rules of God, they get angry at the person who tells them the truth. Like some people beat up the doctor that tells them, I want you to go to a chemo. Why? That's what you have to do. He beats up the doctor. In Israel, it's a common thing. Doctors get punches. Why? People have hot temper. They didn't like what he told them, they beat up the doctor. Yes, it's no joke. And if not the patient, his wife, or the father, or the brother. Anyway, this guy in San Diego got up, and he said to me, in San Diego, there is one Sfaradi shul. I bring my children with the car, we drive 40 minutes to come to the synagogue on Shabbat. The only things my children see on Shabbat, Jewish, is when I bring them here to hear the Torah and to pray once a week because they go to public school. You want to tell me that I should stay home and not come here with the car on Shabbat? Are you out of your mind? What's better? That my children will never see the synagogue? Now you know how everybody, oh yeah, that's right. That's right, he's right. People want to believe what's convenient. What do I care what's convenient? I care what God say it's right and what he say it's wrong. The rest is not relevant. Nobody cares what I think. Nobody cares what you think. We are not sitting in the board of heaven and making the rules of the constitution of Hashem. Nobody cares about what we think. You agree? Rabbi, I agree with you. Thank you very much. Rav Ovadia Yosef Zatzal used to get angry when some people get up to the Torah, they go up, they get aliyah, they finish the aliyah. Before they say the second bracha, they say, Emet Toratenu HaKdosha. He used to get very upset. Why? Thank you very much that you approve that the Torah is emet. Without you, we wouldn't know it. Why you talk? You have to say bracha right away. It's hefsek. Emet Toratenu HaKdosha. Without you, we don't know. You have to tell us that the Torah is emet? I'm just trying to make a point here. Anyway, so I say to the guy, let me ask you a question. Let's think together. When Hashem gave us the Torah 3,300 years ago in front of millions of people, it was a public event. We just read about it a week ago in Parashat Yitro. Did God knows all the future of the world? He said to me, of course. It's one of the 13 principles of Judaism that Hashem knows the future. Okay, so we agree on step 1. Step number 2. The Torah says that if you break Shabbat, it's a death penalty. True or false? He said, true. That guy, by the way, was a Bukhari and Baal Koreh. He grew up religious. His brother is a rabbi, and he's Mechalel Shabbat. But he knows how to read in the Torah more than a lot of religious people, because when he was a kid, he was in Yerushalayim, in one of the synagogues over there. So he knows Torah. It's not that he doesn't know anything. So I say, okay, so step number 2, you know what the Torah says. Step number 3, does the soul get cut permanently in the afterlife if a person dies Mechalel Shabbat? That's what's written. You cannot argue. Step number 4. When Hashem gave us the Torah, He gave us one exception to the rule on Shabbat. When does a Jew allow to violate the rules of Shabbat? When? Only when there is life risk. Pikuach nefesh, doche Shabbat. Somebody, God forbid, has very high fever. If you don't rush him to the hospital, he may die. What are the chances that he's going to die? 1 to 1,000. Most people that have high fever, they don't die. But there is 1 to 1,000 chance. Because there is a little risk here, he may die, you must, not allowed, you must break Shabbat. You call an ambulance, or you take him with a car or with a cab, immediately to the emergency room. Why? You're not allowed to let him die or risk his life because of Shabbat. Your wife needs to give birth. Don't worry, honey. It's only Friday night. Tomorrow night I'll take you to give birth. Moshe, you crazy? I'm dying. Calm down. Why are you nudnikit like this? Shabbat now. I didn't eat my dessert yet. Take me to the hospital. I'm dying. So you must take her to the hospital. Why? She can die and the baby can die. So we understand. So I told him, you understand that the only exception to the rule is life risk. So tell me, please, I asked him, if it was so important to come to the synagogue, why did Hashem not give a second exception to the rule? I allow you for the sake of praying together, also to break Shabbat. Oh, there's no permission. There's only permission to save life. That's it. I give you a better example, I told him. Baruch Hashem, he sat down and was quiet, and until today he doesn't make a beep anymore. He used to make a lot of problems over there. But now, that's it. Why? He got the point. I told him, according to the Torah, if you have a house worth over $1 billion, you have Picasso pictures, you have antique Persian rugs, all the walls are stuffed with $100 bills, you have lots of diamonds there in a safe, you have unbelievable things in a house, and you have passports, and all kinds of precious stamps, and all kinds of coins and collections, over $1 billion in this mansion. And the candle fell from the shelf on a rug, and a fire just started. You can put the fire off in a minute. You bring a blanket or anything or water, and you put it off. You save the entire $1 billion. Nobody's upstairs. The children everybody ran outside. So now you can run outside, but $1 billion will go on fire. Who will have the heart to let his house burn like this, with his parents' picture, with all important things that he hides in the house, all his business document, all the antique, all the Picasso pictures, all the art? Who would let something like this get burned? But what can we do? The Torah says not allowed to break Shabbat even once. Now, he screamed to his neighbor, the rabbi, "Rabbi, we have an emergency." "What?" "Fire in my house. I want you to give me permission to put the fire off." The rabbi said, who do I look like? Like I look to you like a god? I'm only a rabbi. I only teach what the Torah say. I cannot modify the Torah. You're not allowed to put the fire off unless there's a life risk. Anyone is stuck in a house? No, everybody's out. You're not allowed to put the fire off. "Rabbi, take the house. Here, I'm giving you the house in front of 2 witnesses. Take it. Take all the Picasso pictures. Take all the $500 million cash that is hidden inside the walls. Take the antique Persian rug. Take everything. Just give me permission quickly to put the fire off before the whole house will burn. I'm donating the house to Kiruv. Save souls. Materialize the $1 billion. Make CDs. Give people books. Make seminars. Pay people money to become Shomrei Shabbat. Move all the Jewish children to yeshiva. You pay the bill. A lot of parents want to send their kids to yeshiva. They can't afford the money. It's enough for everything. $1 billion. It's all yours, Rabbi. It's a shame that it's going to go down the drain. Rabbi says, "I'm sorry. You're not allowed to put the fire off. $1 billion is going on fire. You're not allowed to put the fire off." What if the house worth $100 billion? You're not allowed to put the fire off. What if the house worth $20 trillion? More money than to buy the whole state of Israel. You're not allowed to put the fire off. What happened if the house worth more than the entire world? You have over there the most precious stones in the whole world, all combined into one house. You're not allowed to put the fire off. That's the value of Shabbat. And people, out of ignorance, not because they're evil, not because they're wicked, no, they have no idea what they're doing, break Shabbat thousands of times every week for free. Not for 100 billion and not for 25 trillion. For free. They destroy their own soul. How can we not cry over such a tragedy? One day they die. Rabbi was a very good person. Yes, you were. But you mechalel Shabbat, v'nichreta הנפש ההיא. That soul is being cut. That's what the Torah says. What can we do? What do you think? Hashem is a joker? Is a liar? Is a politician? Say one thing and do the opposite? If Hashem was a politician, I wouldn't worry so much. But because Hashem is the God of the truth, who does not move an inch from the truth, then we have to shake before we chas v'shalom break Shabbat. So if you don't have a kosher synagogue next to your home, walking distance, pray at home. Pray at home until you move close to the shul. You're Sfaradi and you have Ashkenazi shul, no problem, go to the Ashkenazim. You Ashkenazi and you have Sfaradi shul, go to the Sfaradim. You have Hasidic shul, go to the Hasidim. Reform and conservative, you're not allowed to put a step in. It's worse than a church. You're not allowed to walk in. Place that they speak on a microphone on Shabbat, men and women mix, no mechitza. It's not a kosher place. You're not allowed to enter there. You understand? Better not to pray at all than to enter a reform synagogue, that they marry men with men. That's what they do over there. The biggest crime in the universe. Marry a man with men. And not only that, he makes Sheva brachot. Hey, John. Hey, Josh, come here. Put the talis over your head. I'm a Cohen. Let me give you a bracha. Okay, now we're going to do Sheva brachot. Asher kidishanu v'mitzvotav etzi ala harayot. Sheva brachot. Yes. And the family members standing over there, Mazel Tov. That's reform. The Muslims are more Jewish than them. The Christians are more Jewish than them. Christians that come to Israel keeps more Judaism than them. Muslims don't eat pork. Muslims don't charge interest from each other. Muslims women cover their body. Muslims follow a lot of our rules. Where did they learn all the rules from? Muslim believes in one God. Muslims are against homosexuality. By Muslim is the biggest abomination. They learn it from the Torah. But you know what? I don't understand. Let's say a person is totally not religious. He has no religion, no education. He never heard one word of religion in his life. Not Jewish, not Muslim, not Christian, not nothing. When a person sees that people make gay parade or gay marriage, this should have been in their logic a very big crime regardless of religion. One time I had an argument with two gays. I told them, you know what you're doing is a very big crime. They say, according to you. According to us is a wonderful thing. So I say, you don't believe in God? No. You don't believe in the Torah? No. Okay, so let's explain it to you without religion. Can you explain to gays that they are big criminals without mixing religion into the argument? To explain a person that is a criminal because he's mechalel Shabbat, you must use Hashem and the Torah. Without that, there's no logic. Why shouldn't he be mechalel Shabbat if the Torah didn't say so? What's wrong with driving a car? What's wrong with smoking for those who already do it? What's wrong with sewing or writing? If the Torah didn't say you're not allowed to do it, we will never know it's against logic. It's no problem. We would do it all the time. But if we never read the Torah, should we already know that to be an homosexual it's a horrible crime or no? Of course. Very simple common sense. You look at the world. You don't know anything about religion. You're born in Zimbabwe, I don't know, in the jungle of Brazil, in the Amazonas. You come now and you think, wow, someone made such a world. I don't know who that someone is. I never read the Torah. I don't know it's the God of Israel. I don't know it was 6 days. I don't know anything. I look at the world. I see sun, I see moon, I see stars, I see trees, I see animals, I see birds, fish, oxygen everywhere, people with brain, 10 trillion connection in a brain, how the system in a body work with billions of miracles every second. I look at the world as a total secular person, never heard about religion. So I come to the right conclusion. Someone made this world. It's required by common sense. Whoever made this world has unbelievable ability. I don't know who he is, but he has an amazing ability and skills and talent and brilliant. The person that made the world made more than 2 million different species. Lions, tigers, dogs, cats, mice. And people is 1 out of 2 million species. 2 million different species we know by name today. All 2 million species are male and female. All of them. Male and female. The only way to continue the race of that species is with a combination of a male and a female. They can bring more life to the world, to continue the world and the race. 2 males cannot continue the world. 2 females cannot continue the world. If all people will decide to be gay, all men together and all female together, after 2-3 generations, the world will come to an end. Everyone will die, no one will be born, that will be the end of the world. So that's obviously not what the creator of the world wanted. He made such a world, he put millions of people over here, every species has male and female. Obviously he wants us to multiply and bring more people and animals to the world. So without religion, without learning about God and what he loves and what he hates and what he punishes for and what he rewards for, without all that, simple common sense. Someone made the world? Yes. Someone made me? Yes. Someone made male and female everywhere? Yes. If we will decide to rebel against the law of nature. The creator of the world designed nature by male and female. We decide to declare a war against the creator of the world. We must be criminals, regardless of Torah. Now you take the Torah and you open and you see it's a filthy abomination. Death penalty by stoning and a permanent cut for the soul in the afterlife. The worst punishment, worse than a murderer. Murderer doesn't get stoning and doesn't get permanent cut for the afterlife. Mechalel Shabbat gets it and homosexual gets it. A big thief doesn't get it. A rapist doesn't get it. He doesn't get it. A murderer doesn't, mass murderer doesn't get it. Did you know that? A Jew killed 1,000 people. There is no cut and karet in the Torah for murder. Nobody argued that he's a filthy, despicable human being. He just killed 1,000 people. He's a big gangster. But for one time he's Mechalel Shabbat, he already have a cut for the soul, or being a homosexual. There was a very big gangster in Israel. The head of the mafia. They put a bomb in his car, blow him up in the middle of Tel Aviv. He was Shomer Shabbat. Head of the mafia. Everyone was shaking from him. That's why they put a bomb in him and killed him. But he was Shomer Shabbat. If you ask anyone in Israel, who is better, him or Benjamin Netanyahu? Prime Minister of Israel, he brought us vaccine, Baruch Hashem, he's trying to save us. You know, he's fighting Iran. He's trying to do good things. No one is perfect. You got the point. Who is better, the head of the mafia that they blew him up, or the head judge in the Israeli Supreme Court? According to the Torah, the head of the mafia is not as bad as the judge. because he was Shomer Shabbat. He also built a synagogue, by the way, beautiful one. A few $1 million, they built a wonderful synagogue. Every Shabbat he walks to the synagogue and Shomer Shabbat, but collect protection, breaks people's heads, do all kinds of other things. But Shomer Shabbat. Filthy, 100%. Wicked, 100%. But Shomer Shabbat. Now I'm going to tell you something that will shock you completely. In Shulchan Aruch, it's written in a Jewish book of law. Again, I did not write it. Hashem did not consult with me when he gave the Torah in Mount Sinai. Hey, Mr. Mizrachi, let's see what you think. Do you think I should be strict with Mechalelei Shabbat, or maybe I give him a nice ice cream? If he would ask me, Hashem, I say ice cream and add cookie on top. But obviously he didn't ask me, so I'm not a factor here. So whatever you heard from me tonight, forget it was me. You have to think someone bought a computer, a laptop, and he pressed play, and you heard the recording directly from verses from the Torah. Doesn't make a difference if I read it, or he read it, or he read it. Doesn't make a difference, no. You could have read it yourself. I promise you I'm not changing anything from what's written. It's written in Shulchan Aruch. En kovrim tzadik etzel rasha. When people die, you have to bury them. You're not allowed to mix between wicked and righteous people in the same section in a cemetery. You have to separate them. Someone is Shomer Shabbat and someone is not Shomer Shabbat, you're not allowed to bury them together. Now I know what you're thinking. So how come my uncle in Israel, he was not Shomer Shabbat and I buried him there? Because in Israel you have two kinds of cemetery. Kosher one and ones that belong to the city. They don't keep the Torah. They bury everyone. They don't care. Those who follow the Torah only according to the Torah. When my father, Alav Shalom, passed 2 years ago, he moved from Bat Yam to Rehovot. By then, he couldn't already go up and down. He was already old. He couldn't walk 6 flights up. So he did not go to the shul anymore. So when he passed, my brother-in-law calls me up. It was Motzi Shabbos when he passed. Friday, Sunday morning, the funeral. We didn't even get to Israel yet, my brother and me. My brother-in-law calls me from the cemetery of Rehovot. Don't ask. They don't let me bury your father with the Shomrei Shabbat. They want to bury him in a section of Mechalelei Shabbat with the Chilonim. I say to him, why? He was Shomer Shabbat 25 years before he passed. But they don't know it. They want me to bring a letter from a rabbi of a shul that knows him and testify that he was coming to shul by walking. Shomer Shabbat. Without it, they don't agree. Baruch Hashem, I'm a famous person in Israel. I know all the rabbis. I made few phone calls to people that know me. I said, don't worry, my father was Shomer Shabbat 100%. And they allow him to be buried. If not, if I would be an anonymous person, they wouldn't let him be buried there. Bury him over there with the Mechalelei Shabbat. Why? That's the halakha, that's the law. It's not, they're not doing anything to get you angry. They must follow the laws of the Torah. Here comes the punchline. The halakha continue and say, you don't bury big wicked people with small wicked people. Even among wicked people, there are different level of wicked. What does it mean? That if you have a section of 20 murderers, they're all buried over there. But they were all Shomer Shabbat. In the old days, everyone was Shomer Shabbat. Until 220 years ago, you could not find Mechalel Shabbat one all over Israel. Or all over the world. In Yemen, you never had one Mechalel Shabbat 2,600 years until today. From the minute Jews arrived to Yemen until today, there was never in the history of Yemen one Mechalel Shabbat, not even one, in Yemen, until today. Never. Everyone was Shomer Shabbat, until they brought them to Israel and made all of them like Goyim. In Israel. But in Yemen, everyone was Shomer Shabbat. You can come to Munsi, ask the Temanim. 20 years ago, Satmar brought them from Yemen to Munsi. They were laughing at me when I asked them if anyone was there Chiloni. You're out of your mind? You couldn't even go to the secular court of the Goyim over there. You would have to go to the Mori. The Muslim will tell you why you came here. You're not a Muslim. You must go to the Mori. There was no such thing, non-kosher meat. There's no such thing. There's no women walks with bikini or short sleeves in Yemen. Never. 3-year-old girls were covered with their hair. Little girls. Not married women. And I never heard of wigs in Yemen. It was authentic Judaism. 100%. Sitting on the floor with Gemarot, handwritten. When they came out of Yemen, the Muslims stole treasures that were worth billions. They all had Gemarot scrolls from hundreds of years old that were written with a feather, like Sifrei Torah. They stole everything from them. That's what they told me, the Temanim. So now you have a section of 20 murderers, but they were all Shomer Shabbat. Hundreds of years ago. How do you become a murderer if you Shomer Shabbat? You have a fight with someone who got you angry, you broke his head, he fell on the floor and died. That's it. So they bury you with the murderers. What happened if by mistake they buried Mechalel Shabbat among the murderers? The halacha, the Jewish law say, you must open the grave, take him out, and move him to the section of the Mechalelei Shabbat. Why? Because the murderers don't have karet. Their soul doesn't get cut for permanent life in the afterlife. But the Mechalelei Shabbat, they have no share to the eternal world. So they cannot bury one next to another. One is a big criminal and one is a little bit smaller. So you must open the grave and move him out. It's an insult to the murderers that they dare to bury Mechalel Shabbat among them. If the Jewish people will know that, will they dare to be Mechalel Shabbat? I don't believe so. It's all ignorance. Lack of knowledge. Lack of knowledge. That's it. That's what it is. Most Jews are not evil. I meet thousands of people every year. Most of them are good people. We all have Yetzer Hara. We do some stupid things, but overall we have good heart. You see, when someone has a problem in Israel, secular people volunteer, they come, they help. Somebody needs a kidney, half of the people on the list are Mechalelei Shabbat, they give money. Mechalelei Shabbat donates to the shul. They do a lot of good things. They donate organs, they write, when I die, take organs from me and save life. I never claim that someone is Mechalel Shabbat is an evil, bad person. All I'm saying is, he never learned Torah, that's it. If he would know the truth, I'm sure he would never dare to be Mechalel Shabbat. And one last thing for today, there is another horrible thing which is called not keeping Taharat HaMishpacha. It's a very common problem. In the Torah, you have some mitzvot that has good luck, and some mitzvot that has bad luck. I'll give you an example. Mezuzah, it's mitzvah with good luck. All secular people almost have mezuzot. Even goyim. Can I buy mezuzah, Rabbi? Mezuzot almost everywhere. Almost everywhere. Brit Milah. Mitzvah with luck. It's against human logic. You have two atheist parents. They don't believe in God. They hate religion. They're allergic to religious people. And they bring a mohel and they pay and they make a Brit Milah. How can it be? You don't believe in the Torah. Imagine if they would cut the ear of the baby. Everybody come, we make a party. We had a baby. So what's going to be the party? We will cut his ear. Why? Because we like to do that. They would spend 25 years in prison. But they cut a different part of the body. Not only they don't go to prison, the wife is even crying. Rabbi, you were magnificent. There was a case like this in Israel. The mohel's name is Abu Av. You never heard a story like this in your life. One day he get a phone call. Hi, are you Rabbi Abu Av? Yes. We had a baby. He was born yesterday. We would like to do Brit Milah. No problem. What's the address? Okay, the Brit will be next Tuesday. Okay, this is our address. We live in Tel Baruch. Tel Baruch is a neighborhood of rich people, north of Tel Aviv, private homes. Where will you do the Brit? Can we do it in a house? Yes. We have a big house, everything. Yeah, no problem. What time, the earliest you can come? I can be there 8 a.m. Is that good for you? Yes, wonderful, because we have to go to work. My husband is a businessman. No problem. See you Tuesday. He came to the Brit Milah. He showed up. He see only 2 cars in the driveway. No cars. Quiet. I don't think I came to the right place. The woman opened the door. You probably the rabbi. Yes. Okay, Rabbi, the baby's in a room over there, in a crib. Do what you have to do. There's an envelope with 2,000 shekel in the kitchen table. I added extra 500 shekel if you don't mind to wait in case the babysitter will not show up yet. So when she shows up, please give her the baby and you take the money and thank you very much for coming. So where are you going? So I have to run to the office. Where is your husband? He already had to leave at 7. They don't even know what Brit Milah is. Like 2 complete goyim, this couple. He said that, so that's it, just me. So he said, I was the Mohel. I was the Sandak. I was Kiseh Shel Eliyahu Hanavi. I was Amidah Lebrachot. Listen to this. So as he was holding the baby, tying him, that he won't move. It's hard to do Brit Milah when you hold him at the same time. He started to cry. His tears were falling on the face of the baby. Why he was crying? He said, look how low some Jews reached. Such a low level. They don't even know what Brit Milah is. They went to work. Just come and do it. Before the lady left, he said, so you don't want to participate in your son's Brit Milah? What should I? He didn't understand what he wants. So he said to her, so why did you want to do Brit Milah? Meaning, if you're like goyim, what do you even invited me to do Brit Milah? What do you care about Brit Milah? So you know what she said? We actually had a lot of arguments about it. But then we thought that one day he's going to be a soldier in the army, in a shower, people would see that he's different than everybody. We would not want him to feel intimidated. That's the reason they do Brit Milah, nothing to do with religion. So he said, as the baby is crying, I'm also crying, and our tears got mixed together. The maid came, he left. 13 years later, he got a phone call. Rabbi Abuav, you remember us from Tel Baruch, this? My son is bar mitzvah, and I don't understand what happened to him. He keeps telling us that he wants to become religious. But we're very against religion. We're not religious. I don't know what got to his head. Can you come talk some sense to him? The rabbi said, it's like calling the cat, can you come watch the cheese? Imagine someone call me, Rabbi Mizrachi, hi. My son decided to do tshuva. Can you come maybe convince him to leave the yeshiva and go to college? I'm on my way. Make sure he go yesterday to the yeshiva. They're so ignorant, this couple. They don't know. They know she's asking him to convince the kid not to go to yeshiva. In the end, he was friendly with the boy. He sent him to yeshiva. He became such a tzaddik. They printed that story, this Moel Abuav. He made Brit Milah by himself. What does it mean, Taharat Mishpacha? Hashem wanted couples to get married and be happy and attracted to each other for as long as they live. But it's against the law of nature. The law of nature says, if every day you eat the same piece of meat, every day, first day you enjoy 100%, second day, 99%, third day, 95%, fourth day, 90%. After 50 times you ate that meat, as soon as they serve it, you want to vomit. Can you give me fish instead? No, eat. A month ago you begged, you wanted that big steak. No, eat. No, enough. Eat. No, enough. Have mercy, please. Give me maybe, you know what, forget about it. Give me a piece of bread, better. No bread here. Meat. Eat. What happened? A month ago, He was pushing for the steak. Hey, move! I was here next. Now, he's dying when he sees the steak. What happened? The way Hashem made the world is to show us that physical pleasure, it's temporary and it will expire and it's not the main thing. Don't run after that. Enjoy it here and there, but don't become addicted to it. If a man will have the prettiest woman in the world, everyone was dying to marry her and he's the lucky guy. Prettiest woman in the world, Sarah Imenu. First time he was with her, he feels the luckiest. A year later, Rabbi, we want to get divorced. Why? Everybody's jealous with you. You're the luckiest guy. No, I can't stand there. Rabbi, I can't stand him. Police, 911, cursing, fighting. Rabbi, help me out here. Get me out of this home. I can't be here. They want to kill each other. Why? What happened? 6 months after the marriage already they want to get divorced? One guy paid $1 million for his son's wedding. He brought a tent for thousands of guests. Big, huge tent with air conditions, with unbelievable investment. Made a floor. Huge! He built it just for the night of the wedding. They did not reach the 3rd days of the Sheva Brachot. By the 3rd day, they already had a get in a bed din. They did not finish the week. Why? When it's all physical, it will expire very fast. So what did Hashem want? That you will always be attracted to each other. The only way to do it is to create a system of on and off. You like steak, eat it for 3-4 days, stop few days. Then eat it next week, stop. Eat on, off, on, off, on, off. Everything in life. On and off, you renew the desire. On all the time, desire will go down to 0 and become a nightmare. The desire of yesterday become the poison of tomorrow. So the creator of intimacy wanted it always to be appealing, always attractive. So he said, after you get married, you can be with your wife, let's say 2.5 weeks, as much as you want. The desire start to go down, 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 down. It's not exciting anymore. Up, period comes, few days, and 7 more clean days, 12 days. You cannot touch her, you see her, she's around you. It gets rebuilt, the attraction. She goes to the mikveh, she goes into pure natural water. It has to be natural water, not jacuzzi, not swimming pool, either rainwater or spring water or ocean. It has to be natural. She goes impure into the water and she comes out pure and she's permitted to you for another 17, 18 days, whatever it is. On and off. When you get into your 50s, she's going to have menopause, meaning she doesn't have it anymore. It goes away. Why? Because the desire already dying out in this age a lot. It's a lot less than when you're 20. So you don't need anymore. Therefore, I don't want to bother you going to the lake. In the old days, they used to go to the lake at night. It was a burden. Today is a $5 million mikveh. Nice tower, perfumes, everything Italian marble. Very nice. Wow, music, classical music. Wow. But in the old days, it wasn't so easy. People had to break ice in Italy, women going into freezing ice at 9 p.m. or 11 p.m. In Europe, it becomes dark at 11 at night. Imagine you have to go to a lake. You have to make sure no man is there, going there on the ice, break the ice. Women gave their life not to chas v'shalom, be together with their husband without mikveh. Right here in Brighton Beach, in Brooklyn, there was a couple that came from Russia. An old man sitting in the back of the shul, barely speaks. The rabbi barely knew him. One day he died. The wife came to the rabbi. You know my husband, he sits in the end. He died. We have to arrange a funeral. The rabbi said, okay, I'll ask the member of the community to participate, that he has minyan. You don't have children? No. We came from Russia, we don't have children. Tov. 7 people showed up. Nobody knew him. He was quiet. He did not socialize with anyone. In a wedding, it was the rabbi and 6 more men. And nobody knows him, so nobody can say eulogy. So the rabbi asked the wife, he said, normally a woman will not speak in front of a man in a funeral, but because nobody knows him and you the wife, maybe you want to say shortly a few words of eulogy about your husband. She said, of course. So she came up, and she said, all of you probably are wondering how come we don't have a family and everything. When we lived in Russia, after we got married, we never had an opportunity to be together. Even though we loved each other very much. We lived in a very poor village, not around Jewish community. We could not afford to move. And the entire 30 years that we lived there together, there was no mikveh there. So even though my husband and I loved each other so much, we could never dare to go against the rule of the Torah, that the Torah says, "Elisha benidat umata lo tikrav legalot ervata." It's also a cut for the soul. It's also a very big crime to be with your wife without mikveh. So my husband never touched me. And when we already arrived to America, Baruch Hashem, there was a mikveh, but I didn't need it anymore. I'm already an older woman. So that's how we don't have kids. The rabbi of the shul got up after her. He said, now I understand why almost nobody showed up. None of the people have the merit to participate in a funeral of such a righteous person. He was shocked. They refused to touch it all these years. Why? Because the Torah says you can't touch her without mikveh. It's a horrible crime. I had a couple in my house. I used to speak. I went to a taxi office, car service in Brooklyn. Before my lecture, I used to speak every Monday. They told me, can you stop by the taxi station? A few Israeli drivers. I went there, I gave a speech. One of them was an Israeli guy, Natan. He showed interest. He said, oh, you're going to another lecture, right? Can I come over there? I said, yes, come over there. He started to come every Monday. Then I told him, Natan, I would like to invite you to my house in Monsey for Shabbat. He said to me, wow, it's great. Can I bring my girlfriend with me? I said, oh, you have a girlfriend? If you bring her, I'll put her to sleep by my neighbor. I cannot let you sleep in my house, you and her, but put her by the neighbor. Can we bring her friend also? They all bought waitresses in Jerusalem Steakhouse in Brooklyn. Avenue J in East 14. They used to work there, waitresses, those 2 girls. I say, yeah, we'll put her also with your girlfriend by the neighbors. Now in Shabbat morning, I have in front of me an Israeli guy and his girlfriend, and they all live in the same apartment. He lives with her like a husband and wife. They are already Shomer Shabbat from the lectures after a few weeks. They eat kosher. They listen to lectures. What am I supposed to talk to them about? I talked about this. How horrible is it to have intimacy without mikveh? She's not your wife. 2 hours, I was August, it was so hot, with the air condition, I'm dripping sweat, but I said, I'm not giving up until I save them. After I spoke for more than 2 hours, I say to him, why don't you separate until the wedding? He said to me, we can barely pay the rent on 1 apartment. We're going to get 2 apartments? How can I afford it? I say, you don't need to rent anything. You come to our yeshiva here. I put both of them in a midrashia for girls in Brooklyn until you get married. It won't cost you anything. Food, bed, everything on us. No, Rabbi, I'm working in a taxi. She's working in a restaurant. We're saving money for the wedding. I cannot come to Monsey and live in yeshiva now. I saw that no matter how much I begged them, I failed. I could not convince them not to live together until they get married. So I say, since I anyway have nothing to lose anymore, let's see if Hashem will do a miracle. So I say to them, would you like to ask Hashem to see what he thinks about what I told you now? They looked at me and said, how are you going to ask Hashem? What, you Moshe Rabbeinu? Are you speaking to Hashem? I said, no, there is a way. We make a special prayer and you open the Torah. What comes on the right side is a message from Shamayim. Goral Agra. It's actually Goral Achida, but they call it Goral Agra. He looks at her. They got curious. Would you agree? Yeah. Agree? Yes. So repeat after me, Nathan. Dear God, in Hebrew, please show me the right way. I want to be a righteous son of yours. We want to get married with holiness. Please show us what you want. So open. The first line on the right. ואלישע בנידת ומתה לא תקרב לגלות ערוותה. That's what came out. Don't come near a woman when she's in a state of impurity. The girl screamed so loud, ran to the room crying. The other girl ran after her. This guy's hands were shaking. This is after more than 2 hours. I was begging him and telling him what a horrible crime it is. From all the pages, thousands of pages in the Tanakh, thousands, he opened in the first row on the right. ואלישע בנידת ומתה. Right away I put him in yeshiva. I put the girls in the midrashiyah. Few months later they got married. They moved to Israel. They have a religious family. Baruch Hashem is Talmid Yeshiva until today. It's 20 years already. Hashem made a clear miracle to save the life of this couple. There's a lot of people among us, they don't know the severity of the sin. Sometimes the women say, Rabbi, it's disgusting. I cannot go to a mikveh now. I say, why? It's dirty and this and that. I say, well, let me tell you something. When you go to the Sheraton Hotel or the Hilton Hotel or Cancun, all these pools in Miami, let me tell you what's inside the water before you jump. You ready? There's 50 kids over there every hour. Release you know what in the water. The kids, they don't know. Everybody put oil on their body. They go inside with all the sweat and all the tanning and the creams. All goes into the water. They don't clean the pool every day or every hour. It's full of dirt. You go inside. Wow, wonderful pool. You know what's going on inside? Check the water, you'll choke. The mikveh, nobody does their bathroom inside, Baruch Hashem. They clean it every day. There's chlorine. Nobody goes in with oil. You gotta take a shower before. Clean your ears, clean your nails, brush your hair. Even hair you're not allowed to have. It's the most clean water you can have. But the Yetzer Hara, the Satan, is telling you jump to the pool with all the dirt and you don't care. But going into the mikveh, please don't go. Women will give their life to go to the mikveh like in dangerous places, not to mix this mitzvah. I would like to finish, Bezrat Hashem. First of all, forgive me if I spoke a little bit too strong. Sometimes the only way to save the souls is to shake them up. With good intention. God forbid, not to put anyone down or to hurt anyone. That's not my intention, I promise you. I want everyone to wake up. Those who did not keep what I spoke about today, without knowing you, everybody knows what he needs improvement in. But now it's the time. We are before Pesach. The world is shaking. We don't know what Hashem is bringing to us next. We don't know. We see judgment on the world. Big judgment. Now it's time to wake up. We don't know. Maybe the Mashiach is coming soon. Maybe it's going to be Gog Magog. Who knows what's going to happen? One thing you know for sure. If you be Shomer Shabbat, connected to Torah, keep Taharat Mishpacha with your wife, mikveh, put your children connected to Torah in good yeshivot, eat kosher. If you do all of that, you're in a very good shape. Please download my app. I have a new app, Rabbi Mizrachi. It's blue with the Star David inside on the App Store for free. You have thousands of lectures in every topic you can imagine. There's not one topic I did not speak about. Everything you want. On iOS, on Google, on Android, on everything. You can have free lectures as much as you want, daily. We update. Every day or two, we add another lecture, different topic, Parashat Shavua, marriage, raising children, depression, financial, everything. You go by the topic. Hebrew and English. And also we have some in Farsi. I have Torah and Science with Persian translation. They mute my voice and the guy spoke in Farsi. You know how many Muslims from Iran send me email? If I could, I would run out of here and become a Jew. After they watched it, it leaves no doubt. It shows you how beautiful our Torah, and our Torah can never be written by a human being. 100% divine. Was given to us in a public event and we heard the voice of God. No other nation had such an event. Every other religion is a story of somebody. Nobody witnessed it. Our Torah is the only one that started in front of millions of people, and the people that heard the voice of God speaking to Moshe are mentioned in the book. Nobody can fool you. If God wrote in a book that you heard him speaking to Moshe and you did not hear him, then you would know that the book is not from God. I cannot come to all of you and say, all of you heard me speaking to God. Because if one of you did not hear me, you would raise your hand and say, I'm here for 3 hours and I did not hear you speaking to God. Will I be that stupid coming to tell you that you heard me speaking to God knowing it never happened? How would Moshe fool 3.5 million people, write to them in the Torah, all of you heard me speaking to God when he gave us the commandments. When I went up to the mountain, a mountain on fire and a voice of shofar, one of them would raise his hand and say, Moshe, we love you, but you hallucinating. We did not hear anything and we did not see anything. Can I come to all of you and say that you saw the split of the Red Sea? That bread falling to you every day next to your tent and you eating? Can I tell you such fairy tales unless it really happened to you? So everything in the Torah can never be faked. Why? Because the people that receive the Torah are the witnesses that everything actually happened to them. This you don't have in any other religion, because all of them are fake. There's only one divine religion, is the Torah. The faster you follow it, the better it will be for all of you. Thank you very much, Rabbi, for giving me the opportunity. Thank you very much. You have few USBs if you would like to get, please.